Hey everyone, welcome to the Super Review Show's Mixed Bag. Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully you had a very good holiday.
Hey, Happy New Year, folks. We're back.
We're back and
again. We are back.
Tell a friend. And by the way, everyone, we the best podcast.
We the best podcast. And as you can see, Santa was good to me. I got this wonderful new mic.
Oh, lovely. Love to hear it, Bill. Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
Yeah, the old one crapped out. Moment of silence. Moment over.
Yeah, taps. Anyways, so we hope you all are having a wonderful evening tonight. We just wanted to let you guys know that this is our first one of the 2022 season. We're back. We're better than ever. And Bill, what's tonight's topic on Mixed Bag?
Well, tonight's topic on Mixed Bag, my friend, is we all have okay. You know when movies say they're based on a true story?
Yeah.
All I could say is, folks, take that with a grain of salt. Take that with a grain of salt. Because when movies say they're based on a true story, it means part of it they'll go, yeah, we made shit up. We made some shit up. But, okay, so today we're actually talking about historically inaccurate movies.
Oh, yeah.
Movies that, okay, we're not talking about those that mess up here and there, that they make little mistakes. We're talking about movies that a good chunk of it they get wrong.
Yeah.
A good chunk of it they get wrong. So, you know what? I have to ask you, JT, before we move forward.
Yeah, what's up?
Your mom's a history teacher, right?
Correct.
When she watches movies that are based on historical events, is she like that person who goes, that didn't happen, that didn't happen, that didn't happen, that didn't happen? Okay, that happened.
Sort of here and there, but sort of here and there. I'm not entirely like she's pretty accurate with what she does, but that's that. So
no, because I have friends who are like big history buffs, or they know what really happened, and they'll sit there going, about 90% of what happened in this movie was false.
Yeah, there's some people who are like that. Let's face it.
And, I just want to say that just because movies are historically inaccurate, it doesn't mean they're necessarily bad.
No, it doesn't mean they're bad.
And like, here's the thing. When they say based on a true story, that doesn't mean everything in this movie happened was true. Even what he had for breakfast on that morning, even the way he hauled that fork when he was eating his eggs, that happened. They mean like, yeah, a good chunk of what in this film did happen, but we made shit up. But we did make some shit up. Or we took some artistic liberties. All right, I'm sorry. Go on, buddy.
You're fine. You're fine. So, but tonight's topic is historically inaccurate films. I only have 4. Bill has 5, I believe.
4 or 5. I'm thinking of one more.
We're not. If we come with any ones up here, it's just we'll figure it out. Anyways, let's get right to it. You want to start, or you want me to start?
You know what? How about you want to start? Because I'm trying to think of one more.
Sure, I will start tonight, and let me share my screen with all of you at home who are watching live right now on YouTube. So my first one that I thought of on the top of my head, I got to tell you the honest truth. I'm a big, whoever watches me for a long enough time, they know this. I'm a big fan of this band. I love them. I haven't seen them live, but Bohemian Rhapsody, everyone.
Oh, that was what I just thought of. You know what that means, JT?
We swiped right!
We swiped right! Wow.
Ironically wearing a Def Leppard t-shirt at the same time. Let's go!
First of the new year. First show of the new year. We swiped right.
Heck yeah, buddy. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah. How about that? So, Bill, are we going out to dinner? Are we going to the movies? What's going on, bud?
Where do you want to go?
Let's go out to the movies and rewatch Bohemian Rhapsody.
I don't think that's playing in theaters. You want to go rewatch No Way Home?
I'm like, sure, why not?
That works. That
Let's
works.
see what we can do.
That so works.
So look, as great. To be honest, this was a great movie. Let's face it. It won a couple of Oscars. It was fantastic. I thought it was great. However, there were some, and I'm waiting for Bill to rip me off and just chime in immediately. There were some things about this movie that I actually thought that were actually completely inaccurate. And the one that's immediately popping out in my head right now, and I want Bill's help on this too, is the fact that towards the end of the movie, right before they perform at Live Aid, Freddie Mercury he sells Brian May, which this did not happen, but it's in the movie. Brian May, Roger Taylor, and John Deacon find out that Freddie Mercury has AIDS, which is not true. We found out that Freddie Mercury had AIDS the day after he died. So that's a big one that stood out to me. I mean, Bill, what do you got?
Yeah, well, no, the same thing is it's like they said he got AIDS right before Live Aid.
Yeah, which is not
true. But
true.
What happened was he didn't get AIDS till like 87, I think.
Yeah, and Live Aid was what, 85?
85. Right? He didn't get AIDS till like 86, 87, maybe 88.
Oh, right, yeah.
But no, but I think the thing and when he was going off about how he was they were probably going off like this could be his last chance before he dies. But like, here's what you got to know though. They were actually talking about doing a sequel after this, but because of that little historical inaccuracy, you kind of can't really do anything like that anymore.
No, and yes, that's unfortunate. But
if you didn't do that, then yes, you could go forward. But what are you going to show after Live Aid? As Justin said, the AIDS years.
Yeah, like him actually having AIDS in like the late 80s into 91. I mean, I don't know.
I don't want to be, that would be a very depressing film.
Yeah, but and Bill and I have talked about this too. There's on a side note. The only type of film, the only artist biopic of a band or artist that could have a sequel is Nirvana. Let's face it.
Because they could have like a Marvel style end credit scene.
Yes.
With Dave Grohl outside of a store with the cassette saying Foo Fighters.
And then the next movie's being made of the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, here's the thing. Another historical inaccuracy, and this is a big one. They said that Queen broke up. That Queen broke up before Live Aid, and this was the reunion show. Not true. They never broke up. They were still together.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
But it was a time that they were redeeming themselves, and they didn't touch upon this in the movie, which I don't remember. I haven't watched this movie in a while, but
yeah, I saw it a couple years ago.
But I don't remember if they touched upon this because this was around in the 80s when apartheid was going on in South Africa.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists were protesting, and they weren't playing shows in South Africa. Mm-hmm. And Queen did. And they kind of got a little bit of a black mark after that.
Yeah.
And they kind of got a little bit of a black mark after that. And, well, okay, to be fair, it's not like they supported apartheid. They were like, listen, we're not into politics. We just played where our fans were.
Yeah, no.
But this was kind of their redemption show because after this, everyone forgot about all that.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah.
But what did really happen is, I don't really know if this happened, but Queen, when they were playing, I don't know if it really did happen or not. That's scene when Queen's playing and Bob Geldof and them are in the back room. And when Queen's playing, the phones are ringing off the hook to donate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No one knows for sure if that's actually true or not, but.
No, but that was the staple of Live Aid.
It definitely was.
But you know what? I think it's the thing is because the guy who directed this, I think also directed Rocket Man.
The director?
Yeah.
Bryan Singer was the director of X-Men Days of Future Past and a couple of the X-Men.
No, I know somebody also had work on Rocket Man.
I forgot if that.
Who also worked on this one, I think. But anyway, if you take a film like this, comparing it to Rocket Man, Rocket Man does have a lot of historical inaccuracies, but this is where Bohemian Rhapsody really screws the pooch.
Mm-hmm.
It's the tone of the film because they really take it like everything in this movie happened.
Yeah.
Everything. Even what Freddie had for lunch that day, the way he held the sandwich, everything is true.
Like the kiss on TV during Live Aid to his mother.
Everything happened. Well,
Yeah.
Rocket Man, you can be a little more forgiving because it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah, which it sucks for me. I still haven't seen Rocket Man, which is disappointing for me.
Like, so I won't go into too much spoilers, but
I don't really care if you want. I'm going to see it at some point.
Because, they, at the end, they have him, Elton John, singing I'm Still Standing, thinking that, he wrote that to get out of his drug recovery. But no, he was still on drugs when he wrote that song.
Oh, yeah, no, he wasn't sober until like 1992, 3, I forget. But
yeah, but anyway, the thing is, I think when you have something like Rocket Man, when the tone's a little more laxed, when they do historical inaccuracies, you can be a little more forgiving because the show, it's like we're not taking this too seriously. You get it?
Yeah, I gotcha.
We're not taking this too seriously. But when you have the everything happened tone in Bohemian Rhapsody, that kind of destroys your credibility a little bit.
Yeah. Matt Hems in the chat were just pointing out that we're thinking of Ruben Fleischer, who took over Bohemian Rhapsody from Bryan Singer and directed Rocket Man.
Oh, first of all, Matt Hems, and thanks, buddy, for pointing this out.
Yeah. Random facts with Matt.
Random facts with Matt.
Love to see
also, Joe Wiley's here tonight.
Hello. How you doing?
What's going on, Joe? Good to see you.
Good to see you. But yeah, so my first pick would be Bohemian Rhapsody, just for like some reasons of inaccuracy here and there, and not completely factual films. I mean,
guys, tell us what your historically inaccurate movies are. We'd love to hear them.
Yeah, let us know. All right. Anyways, do you want to go next? Or do you want to go to your pick?
You know what? I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna start with this one. But it's not going to be too long because this is something I have talked about before.
Which one?
And that is the movie Rudy.
I didn't even think of that.
Okay. I'm going to keep my remarks here very brief.
Go for it, Bill.
What was that?
Go for it, Bill.
Because if you watch the Thanksgiving show, I went very in depth. So
like for a solid 20 minutes, he went in depth. Just saying, for a solid 20 minutes.
This is sort of. I'm not going to go 20 minutes this time. I'm going to go 19 minutes. Nah, I'm just kidding. Here's what I'm going to repeat these points. A lot of what happened in this movie was fictionalized. 1, Rudy did not have a brother named Frankie who antagonized him. He was the oldest of the sons. That's 1. 2, Rudy did 2. The big scenes that everybody talks about, the Jersey scene. Before I get to the Jersey scene, the groundskeeper character that's supposed to be like the motivational guy, who basically tells Rudy to keep going. He wasn't real.
Damn.
He wasn't real. Sorry, folks. He wasn't real. They just made that up. And of course, the scene that everybody talks about and they get teary-eyed, the Jersey scene. When they're all throwing in the jerseys and they're saying, for Rudy, for Rudy, for Rudy. That didn't happen. Dan Devine, who was the coach of Notre Dame at the time, he even stated, yeah, that didn't happen. If a player put his jersey on my desk, they would never see it again. If they asked to come back, I'd say hell no. So, and also speaking of Dan Devine, they kind of portray him that he was that he didn't like Rudy. When in all honesty, he really did like him in real life. And I'm going to ruin all of your lives right now. The scene when the whole stadium goes crazy and they're like, Rudy, Rudy, Rudy. Yeah, that didn't happen. That did not happen.
Damn.
And the scene when they were carrying him off the field, that was only a prank. It wasn't real, genuine. Because one of the things was, and I've said this before, NFL legend Joe Montana, one of, if not the best quarterback in the NFL, top 5 hands down, who is a Notre Dame alumni. He was a freshman when Rudy was a senior, and he said, and because Sean Astin, who played Rudy, was on the Dan Patrick show, and he said Joe Montana said that the jersey scene and all that didn't happen. And Sean Astin said, well, that's a fair point. You know, Joe was real. He was there. And he has a right to speak about what he said. But I don't think Mr. Montana was really a big fan of this movie. Because he kept saying, like, nobody threw their jersey in. Nobody was chanting Rudy, Rudy, except for a few. He wasn't carried off the field in triumph. It was a joke. Everything and most of what happened in this movie was fictionalized. But, yeah, so sorry to ruin all your hopes and dreams, folks.
It's okay. Bill does not support ruining hopes and dreams either.
But I have to tell you the facts.
JTF, just the facts.
And by the way, actually, fun fact before we move on, this has nothing to do with the accuracy of the movie. Shout out to my good friend, Mark Halpern, a.k.a. Old Ops Guy. He actually got me a Rudy Funko Pop for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
He got me a Rudy Funko Pop for Christmas. So I'm like, yeah. Thanks, Mark.
Lovely. All right. Is it my turn? Are you all set?
It is your turn, my friend.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep that tab open for us. So the next one I have is, and I don't know a lot of, because I've only seen the movie twice, because it's like a 3-hour long movie. But Braveheart is a movie that was a great movie. Oh my God. Braveheart, so good. But there was so many, this is why I wanted to have this pick, because I think Bill knows about this more than I do. But I wanted to pick this because I do know for a fact that there are some inaccurate moments in this movie, historically speaking, for Braveheart. Bill,
I just want to say before you move on,
yeah,
Hemsley, one of those 2 movies I'm going to be talking about soon. So hold your horses.
Hold your horses there, Matt. Bill, what? Because correct me if I'm wrong. The stuff in Braveheart.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen Braveheart, but I'll pull up a fact or fiction page for you.
Oh my God! All right,
okay, I'm stressing on it. I know what happens though a lot.
Yeah, it's like I'm drawing a blank. I remember there was something. I remember hearing something that was wrong. Something historically wrong with it. Fact check with Bill. But like, basically, for those who don't know, this is a movie about that Mel Gibson starred. It's about like the Scottish declaring their freedom from the British. If you've never seen Braveheart, get on it. It's a really great movie that has a lot of incredible sequences of like real like action that like they're running towards each other. There's this incredible scene in this movie where like they're about to kill each other, and it's between the British and the Scottish, and it's incredible. Bill, do you have those facts yet or no?
I'm trying to pull it up here. I'll
Okay.
give you a second, but I just want to say it has the best, one of the best speeches ever.
Oh yeah.
They could take away our lives, but they can't take away our freedom.
Preach, man. Preach on that quote.
And
I do love that. But like I said, Bill's pulling up the facts because I'm drawing a blank on this one. I'm sorry, everyone. But I do know that there are some historical inaccuracies about this film in particular.
I just pulled up 10 of them.
Oh, what do you got, Bill?
Okay, the first flaw. The way he looked. William Wallace. The first flaw in the film, and perhaps the best known, is the way which the title character looks. How most people perceive the image of William Wallace is incorrect. The iconic costume created by the film is known around the world. The blue face paint, the long scruffy hair, and the tartan clothing. It is an image that has become associated with Wallace. The myths surround, he didn't look like that, basically, for the film.
Damn. That's unfortunate because it's such a good movie.
The affair with Isabella France. That didn't happen.
Oh, my God.
That woman who's having an affair with from France?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That didn't happen.
Jesus Christ. What else didn't happen?
His wife was executed.
His wife actually was executed. Okay.
Longshanks killing Scottish nobles. That was false.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
See what happens when you come here.
Yes, welcome to Mixed Bag, everyone. That's great because some of these I didn't even know. That's the thing.
That creepy looking guy, Robert the Bruss.
Was he like he's missing an eye or whatever?
Yeah, he wasn't. Hold on. The
guy who's missing an eye
provided children with nightmares across the globe. Well, your kids should have been watching this movie anyway. It's rated R.
It's rated R for a reason. It's literally
following further research. It turns out that he didn't suffer from. Oh, he didn't have leprosy.
He didn't have what?
Because I'm guessing he had leprosy in the film.
Oh, okay.
Robert the Bus.
Okay.
So that was made up.
Damn.
Okay.
It's kind of ruining the film for me, but I shouldn't say it's ruining the film, but it's like it's just a great movie. Like I said, if you haven't seen Braveheart, it's a fantastic film. Oh my God. Mel Gibson at his finest. Aside from Lethal Weapon, it's one of his favorites.
How
one
the
of my
battles
favorites.
unfolded.
The battle was real, right?
Yeah, so the two main battles of the film are Stirling Bridge and Farlick. The producers got results of both battles correct. Everything else, not so much. The victory for the Scottish at Stirling Bridge was a landslide, one of the most famous in their history. With regards to the film, they showed up this is a victory on the open field. In reality, the Scots lured the English over a narrow bridge and split the bulk of their army. Then they barraged the enemy, killing hundreds and forcing the English to flee. The film adaptation of Falkirk is so much more far-fetched, but Bruce dressed as a fat knight on Edward's side. You know what? Okay, let's see. Abandoned by his former comrades, the film shows that Wallace was betrayed before his death. That Wallace was betrayed before he died, that's actually not true.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
And the way he died was totally true, though.
Oh, he actually died that way?
Yeah. Should we tell the folks or should we let them keep their dinner down?
Let's let them keep their dinner down and watch Braveheart. Jesus, guys.
And
fantastic movie.
And you want to know something? I want to say this. And this is a little bit of a weird thing to say here, but my shout out to my buddy Connor Walsh. He told me a story about his grandmother years ago, and I think this is kind of appropriate because his grandmother just recently passed away, like last week.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, Connor, we're thinking of you, buddy. But anyway, he told me this story of when they were watching Braveheart, and she was very Irish, and it was an English thing, and the Irish and English are not exactly best friends. And they said to her, you sure you want to watch this, Grandma? This movie's kind of bloody. And she said, it's okay. It's English blood.
That's funny.
It's a little screwed up, but it is funny. He's like, it's English blood.
So,
all
right.
So yeah. Rest in peace, Mrs. Walsh. But yeah. But yeah. So I haven't. Okay, like here's the thing. I've been curious to see Braveheart, but I've been kind of turned off by two things.
What?
One, this movie's like 12 hours long.
It's 3 hours. It's not that
I'm
bad.
being hyperbolic. I know it's 3 hours.
I'm just saying.
And two, I'm not really a big fan of Mel Gibson. I think he's an asshole.
Oh no.
No, he is. He is an asshole.
I didn't know that. Okay.
I'll tell you off camera.
Tell me later.
Yeah. Hemsley knows Mel Gibson's an asshole, don't you, Matt Hemsley? Because Matt Hemsley knows everything.
Oh, does he now?
He does. He knows everything.
He knows everything.
But because he's Matt Hemsley. But anyway. But anyway, yeah, those are my two reasons. Like, I think I just need a day when there's like nothing to do.
Yeah.
When it's like 2 feet of snow on the ground. I think that's like a day I need to sit down and watch Braveheart.
Hey, it's supposed to snow Friday, so who knows?
Maybe that'll be my Braveheart day.
That should be your Braveheart day.
That will be my Braveheart day.
Because we do this every Wednesday, so if it snows on Friday, the 7th, you should be good.
Yeah, but again, one of the best quotes ever. They can take away our lives, but they can't take away our freedom.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my God. Anyways, Braveheart, great pick. So thanks for helping me out, by the way.
No problem.
It is your go, my guy.
It is my go.
Yes, because you helped me out with that. That was my pick.
Okay. So this is a movie that I said was terribly overrated, but I think we're going to talk about this. The Sound of Music.
Somewhere my mother is screaming at you.
What, she likes it?
She loves it.
All right. Before I begin, I'm going on a quick apology tour. Mrs. Mahoney, I am very sorry that I think this movie is overrated. That is my opinion, and I'm entitled to mine, and you're entitled to yours. That is what's so great about this great land of ours. So please accept my apology, but I do not apologize for thinking this movie is long and overrated. I do not apologize for that at all. But now, in the spirit of that, I am now going to ruin everybody's hopes and dreams about what really happened in this movie. So it's semi an apology, but sorry, not sorry. Thank you. Good night. Refreshments and t-shirts are available in the lobby. Okay. Here's a few things you got to know. They portrayed Maria von Trapp that she's sweet as pie, and that Captain von Trapp is an ass. That he's very strict and very stern.
Yeah.
In reality, it's actually the opposite.
Really?
Captain von Trapp was actually very soft spoken.
Huh.
And he was actually a very nice guy. And how do I know this? And there will be references to this a lot. I actually watched a documentary about the Von Trapp family.
Ooh.
So guess what? Documentaries rooted the fun for everyone since the beginning of time. But anyway, Mr. Von Trapp was actually a very nice guy. He was very soft spoken. The false part. Here's Maria von Trapp was
she really?
Yeah, they said she had a really bad temper. And she said there were stories about when she was fighting with Captain Von Trapp and the kids, that when they were fighting with Captain Von Trapp and the kids, that she actually threw things. Like, in the film, they portray her as Julie Andrews with the nice voice. And she does really have a nice voice. She does. Julie Andrews back then. And that she's sweet as pie. But no, in the film, in real life, Maria von Trapp was a few fries short of a Happy Meal.
I never heard that one. That's pretty good.
To be fair to Maria von Trapp, because this is the stuff they left out. Yeah, I'm going solely on a documentary here, folks.
Yeah.
She really didn't have the best childhood. Her mom died when she was 3. Her father abandoned her. She was left with an uncle who really wasn't the best human being, and I think did some things to her that I'm not getting into detail.
Yeah,
but
fine.
he was abusive.
Oof.
So she didn't really have the best childhood. And it's portrayed in the film. Oh, parts they did get right. Maria did go into an abbey, into a convent to become a nun. That part is true. She did get sent to be the nanny for Captain Von Trapp. That's true. Okay, but the part when they got married and they portray that this marriage was happy and the kids loved her. Like, they loved her when she was their nanny. But when they got married, they weren't too happy because one of the daughters was like, oh, she's coming in to replace my mother. And it showed that Captain Von Trapp and Maria's marriage was happy. It wasn't. Like, later on in years, they did grow to love each other, but in the beginning, it was not a happy marriage.
That's a shame.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm ruining everything. You think I'm done? Oh, guess what? I'm not done.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
And here's the big thing that actually first about, because in this documentary, after Captain Von Trapp died, like, she was constantly at odds with the kids. Because at this point, they wanted to live their own lives. And, okay, the Von Trapp family singers, that was real. That is real. They're still going on today with, like, their great grandkids. But they said that actually what, because at this point the kids were in their 20s and 30s, and that she still had a tight grip on them. But here's the big thing that have you ever seen the movie or no?
I have, yeah.
You know that big dramatic scene that they're escaping the Nazis?
Yeah.
That didn't happen.
For real?
It didn't happen.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was dramatized.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, that was dramatized. Yeah, what really happened is they just literally took a train over to Italy. But, here's some interesting things, though, that here were some things that they did find that you would find interesting here. The because this was around the time when the Nazis took over Austria.
Yeah.
Hitler actually invited the Von Trapp family singers to sing for his birthday.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
And they said no.
Oh.
And there was actually the oldest son, and aside from the documentary, I also watched an interview with one of the with two of the Von Trapps. The oldest son, who went to medical school, when he graduated, they said the ink on the degree wasn't even dry yet, and he was already offered a job at a hospital to replace a Jewish doctor, because this was around the time when it was started.
Yeah.
And he was offered a job to replace a Jewish doctor. So it's like, and that they first went over to Italy and then they came over to America. And they actually, the Von Trapp family lodge is actually, I want to say it's in Vermont.
Okay.
I could be wrong. And yeah, but And the thing is, the reason why they portrayed like their personality wise is because Maria von Trapp actually wrote a book about everything that happened.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
And she sold the rights to a German film company. And then Rodgers and Hammerstein got it and turned it to a musical. And that's when the portrayal of Catherine von Trapp said she didn't like it. And when Rodgers and Hammerstein sold the rights to the film company that was going to make The Sound of Music, she actually begged the director, can you please try to change the portrayal of my husband? And they basically said, Maria, we don't know what to tell you. You sold the rights to the German film company, which sold the rights to Rodgers and Hammerstein, which sold the rights to us. So we basically can do whatever the hell we want. You basically have no input.
Yeah.
And also, fun fact, and if during the scene when she's singing the song Confidence, if you look really close when Julie Andrews is singing in that street near the Abbey, it's only a split second. You see the real Maria von Trapp.
In the film?
Yeah, she doesn't talk or anything, but you see her walking by.
No way.
This has been Random Facts with Bill. Random Facts with Bill. So anyway, I am going to say this. And listen, Mrs. Mahoney, I know you said you like this movie, but the reason why I did this is, one, I found the facts interesting. And two, I remember every year from kindergarten to 6th grade in music class, I had to watch this freaking movie. And you know what? It's like when I actually watch the documentary, I'm like, wow, that was actually more interesting than the movie. That was actually more interesting. So yeah, folks, sorry to ruin your hopes and dreams again.
That's all right.
But yeah, hopes and dreams were destroyed by the worst thing. And you know what that was? Facts.
And that you are full of many random facts, as we know.
Facts. Sorry. Okay, JT, your move, my friend.
So I had two, but in reality, I was thinking back to what I was talking about was I have only seen bits and chunks of each movie once, and one more than the other. So I'm at a split decision here, Bill. One movie, well, I could because I know I've originally said 4 tonight. I want to go to 3 instead. What's that?
No, never mind. We'll go on. We'll take questions at the end.
Yeah, we'll take your questions at the end. But I was gonna say, I've only seen bits and chunks of each movie, and I feel like there's much more we can go up with the second one. So I'm gonna get rid of Ben-Hur from 1959, which is a really old film. Because I haven't seen that in forever. I only saw it once, but I remember doing research for this one. So I'm going to cut out Ben-Hur, but I'm going to go over to JFK from 1991. Because for those of you who don't know, it's about the assassination of President Kennedy. And it's about like the trial, and the Kevin Costner is never better in it. In my opinion, I think he's a fantastic actor, to be honest with you. But I mean, it basically is, it's a movie that gathers all the information about the JFK assassination, and there were some things that I thought that there's some things. Like I said, Bill, I need your help with this. Forgive me, but there were some things.
Pulling it up right now, good buddy.
Thank you, because there were some things I remember that were not correct in the clips and bits that I've seen. I've not seen the full movie from start to finish because again, it's like 3 hours long. The long movie. It's 3 hours and 26 minutes long. It's a long movie. It's longer than Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Let's put it that way. But yeah, like Bill's pulling up the facts. But for those of you who don't know, this movie is about the assassination of JFK and what goes on with that movie and what goes on with the characters and the behind the scenes and stuff like that. Bill, you look like you're about to say something.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up right now.
Yeah, because this is my last pick of the evening. Because this was a very hard list for me to make. When we said this topic, by the way, I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? And I was like, I came up with Braveheart, and I came up with this, and I came up with
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody. I was like, oh my God, that's really it. Like, unfortunately. But JFK was a very long movie. I've only seen it in bits and chunks because it's so long. Bill, what do you got?
Okay. I'm just looking up some.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking up some things here. Oliver Stone directed this.
Yes.
As far as I know, JFK is the only movie in film history that was attacked 6 months before it was released in just about every broadcast and print outlet. The media's hostility towards Oliver Stone's JFK was an automatic response to the film's implied question in the legitimacy of institutions, because there was the Warren Report and there were like different theories about if JFK, like what really happened to JFK, the assassination and all that.
Yeah.
Although the purpose of the attacks was simply to maintain adequate public support for institutional power, because there was the Warren Report, which basically concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. And some of these criticisms were valid. Basically saying, I think it was basically, from what I'm gathering, maybe someone out there who's smarter than me could actually get, but they're actually saying like, oh my God, how dare you question the legitimacy of what the government said? How dare you?
Right.
How dare you question the legitimacy of what the government said? In the Warren Report. Some of the, and pointed to the factual errors of one time and another. Some criticism dealt with evidence that could reasonably be interpreted in more than one way, and some criticism was unfounded.
Mm-hmm.
In several cases, what were alleged to be factual errors. Okay, well, you want to tell me what the factual errors were?
Sure.
Yeah. Dude, looking through this is like trying to find the fountain of youth.
Oh my God.
Because, people actually write books on this crap.
I know. It's
give us the Cliff Notes version. We don't have time to sit here and read through stuff.
Sorry,
but yeah, like there is YouTube videos about it, but we're not going to show due to copyright. But yeah, but is that JFK's fact or fiction? Okay, so they're basically saying a lot of the stuff. Hold on, what probably has the information?
Who?
Wikipedia.
Can't be Wikipedia.
When in doubt, go to Wikipedia.
Yes.
Remember, kids, when in doubt, Wikipedia is free.
It is.
Isn't free information great? Okay, let's see if they have they don't have a section for historical inaccuracies. That's interesting. Guys, I am really sorry here.
You're fine, bud.
I'm trying to look through this and get you some information here. But JFK fact or fiction. I'm trying here, guys, I promise. Okay. So they have to bring in people who wrote books.
Well, either way, I mean, it is a movie that it's loosely based on the actual events, though, right?
Yeah, it is loosely based on the actual events.
Yeah.
I think the reason why it gained controversy is because it kind of put fuel to the fire of all the conspiracy theories that were going on.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And because, I don't want this to become an anti-government rant here, but sometimes people, they just want, those are the facts and we're sticking by them.
Right. I gotcha.
Okay. God, I wish you told me you were talking about this. I would have tried to do some more research before we went on.
Sorry, bud. No, and full disclosure, when we have these topics, it's just like sometimes it's just difficult.
We do not tell people what our list is.
Yeah, we don't tell each other what our lists are at all for any of our shows we do. We just kind of go off the cuff, and this is one of the drawbacks of it, but that's okay.
Okay, it says right here, Garrison Lane, who was one of the DAs. Lane has not yet seen JFK, but he has read the shooting script. He said it is more fiction than fact. The reason, Stone backs off from implicating the CIA, instead spreading the guilt around so widely that it leaves no one really responsible. Okay, well, it kind of gives a more nuanced picture then.
Yeah.
I was with Garrison all the way, Lane said. He said the CIA killed your president. Now you could say Garrison was right or wrong, but you can't actually tell the story without saying that he blamed the CIA. Okay, I from what I'm gathered, again, there's someone out there who's smarter than me, Matt Hemsley, who's smarter than me, who probably understands this better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I'm gathering, they tried to stay away from the conspiracy theories that the CIA may or may not have had something to do with the Kennedy assassination.
Right.
They tried to stay away from it.
Yeah.
And it's very, you picked a very complex one, my friend.
It was one of the ones that I could think of. That's the thing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think they try to pick. They did try to depict this as,
as non-conspiracy theory as possible.
Exactly, because they probably don't want to. We don't want to show the possible theory that the CIA may have had something to do with the Kennedy assassination.
So they basically wanted, when they made this movie, they wanted to eliminate, number one, eliminate all the conspiracy theories. Number two, try their best to tell a great story.
Yeah, because listen, if you guys look into history, there's a bunch of conspiracy theories about
for everything. For everything, not just
there's a bunch of conspiracy theories that do have. I will say there is one that does have legs.
Which one is that?
Okay, sorry, this is turning into a conspiracy theory podcast. But
just show one. Just show one.
There is one conspiracy theory that has legs, and that is that the mob did it.
Oh, okay.
Because allegedly, here's the short version. Sam Giancana, who was one of Chicago's big mob bosses, was friends with Frank Sinatra. And Frank Sinatra was friends with JFK and all of them. Joe Kennedy was in Chicago during the 1960 election, and he met Sam Giancana. First he met Sinatra, and Sinatra said, "Hey, Joe, I have someone who can help you." And he introduces him to Sam Giancana. And he goes, "Hey, I need to help Jack get elected. Can you help me?" He goes, "I'll see what I can do." Joe Kennedy leaves. Frank Sinatra and Sam Giancana are talking. And Frank goes, "Hey, listen, Sam, Jack gets elected. He's a buddy of mine. He'll just look whatever you guys do, he'll look the other way." And then Kennedy gets elected. Bobby Kennedy's attorney general. And Bobby Kennedy and Giancana sort of had a history together because Bobby Kennedy in the 1950s was on something called the McClellan Commission, which was a committee to take down organized crime. And allegedly Sam Giancana, when Bobby Kennedy started the war on organized crime, Sam Giancana calls Frank Sinatra and says, "Hey, Frank, you said if we got Jack in, he would let us do what we want. Well, guess what? Bobby's now coming after us." So Frank Sinatra basically tells Joe Kennedy, "Hey, can you tell Bobby to lay off this whole organized crime thing?" He goes, "Why?" "No reason." He goes, "Why, Frank?" And he goes, "I kind of told Sam that if Jack got elected, he would let him do whatever the hell he wants."
Oh, geez.
And he goes, "What?" And he goes, he says, "Why don't you tell Sam?" He goes, "No, you're going to tell Sam." And he goes, but Joe, if I tell him, he's going to cut my throat." And then he basically said, "Good. Dean Martin will sell more records than you now."
Oh my God.
Again, so I think that conspiracy theory actually does have some legs.
I'd say so.
But, there are other ones that Lyndon Johnson planned it. There were others that the Cubans did it, that the Russians did it. There's so many of them. If we were to go through every single one, we'll be here for a week.
Yeah, we're not here to do that. We're here to talk about movies and have fun. So don't worry.
Yeah, and I don't want to give you guys headaches.
Yeah, me neither.
I'll write a whole book on them. That's going to
yeah.
take me years to write. Okay, so anyway, yeah, I'm trying to find what the fact and fiction are, but they're writing in those in some weird languages. So
It's all right. We pretty much talk about the gist of it in general, though, right?
yeah. Okay, you said that was your last one.
That was my 3. I had Ben-Hur on the list, but then I haven't seen Ben-Hur in a long time.
I actually have 3 more, if that's okay.
Whatever.
I actually have 3 more, if that's okay.
That's fine. How many did you have so far? Do you have 3 so far?
I had 2.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I have 3 more here, guys.
And then we'll go to you guys in the chat board.
Okay. The first one is, and I actually just thought of this one. No disrespect to the late, great Robin Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Patch Adams.
Patch Adams?
Oh, you never heard of this movie?
I actually have not. Don't kill me, but I haven't heard of it.
Well, guess what? It kind of sucks anyway, so...
All right.
So you don't really need to be... Okay, so Patch Adams is basically the story of a doctor named Patch who is, well, actually his real name is Hunter. Okay, I actually have the info pulled up here.
Oh boy, he's got the info.
I got the info. Okay. That Patch was... Okay, it shows that Patch Adams was having a nervous breakdown and was sent to a psychiatric ward because he was contemplating about offing himself.
Oh, jeez. All right.
And at this... Well, okay, he basically becomes a doctor and tries to improve quality of life by being funny and goofy and being a clown. In reality, Patch, it shows that he was in his 30s and 40s, but Patch Adams did in fact check himself into a psychiatric hospital, but he was actually younger when it happened. And also, and there was some, it was saying that I'm trying to gather everything here. That Patch has already been finishing. Patch did try. Okay, so another thing that happened was that Patch's okay, they do show that there is a scene that Patch's girlfriend, that Patch Adams' girlfriend, that someone that he got together, she didn't exist, and showed in the movie that she was murdered. It was actually based off of his then wife, but he actually had a male friend who was murdered.
Oh, jeez.
So they kind of screwed that up. And there was also a scene that he practiced without a license, which didn't happen. If the real Patch Adams is watching this, please tell me if that's true or not, because I heard you didn't practice. Because I hope you didn't, because you do sound like a good guy. But
yeah.
And saying that he stole medicine from a hospital.
Yeah.
Which didn't happen. And
so basically, it's a movie about it's a movie that there's a lot of stuff in it that did not happen.
Yeah, it's basically about a doctor who tries to improve the quality of life of his patients. Like he comes in clowning, and this one woman says she has a fantasy of being in a swimming pool full of noodles.
Okay.
And the real Patch Adams, because he is actually a real doctor, though. He is actually a real doctor. And he is a real doctor. And he's a real doctor. And you want to know something? He didn't like this movie.
Really?
He hated it.
What?
He absolutely hated this movie. He said that, he said he hated this movie. He said it portrayed me as just a clown and not a doctor. Like, he still does like clowning and stuff, and he actually does have a hospital that he built. That hospital is still around. And there's actually videos of him on YouTube, and I heard he's fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah, he said he hated the movie, but there was actually one thing he said he did like, though. He said he did like Robin Williams. He said he did like Robin Williams.
That's good. I mean, that's good, though.
He said the rest of the movie I absolutely hated.
He liked Robin Williams' performance, but not the movie.
Yeah, he said I hated the movie, but I liked Robin Williams. And you know what? And this is something I can actually see what he said. He goes, you know, people watch a movie based on your life and they think they know everything about you.
Yeah.
Obviously, they don't.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because you know what? And I have like 2 more picks. Because you know what? It's like, if the people who watch the movie and there's who are still alive, I'm sure they go to the directors if they do some inaccuracies and go, hey, that didn't happen. I should know. I was there. I should know. I was there. That didn't happen.
Right.
But you know what? That kind of goes into my next 2 picks. Because the subjects of these next 2 films have been dead for years. Decades. No, they've been dead for centuries.
What?
That's the next subject of my 2 films.
What's your next film?
The next one is, and you would think this is a silly pick, Pocahontas. The Disney one.
Oh, I didn't even think of that.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Bill, it's a Disney movie. Of course it's going to be historically inaccurate.
No, but there's other things. No, I didn't even think of this, but I know you're talking about. There's other things in this movie that are not true at all.
Yeah, and you know what? This was the beginning of the end of the Disney Renaissance.
Yeah.
Because, okay, for those of you who don't know what the Disney Renaissance was, it was from 1989 to 1999. It was basically from 1989 to 1999, and that was the period when they were making great films such as Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, and The Lion King. And because this movie kind of had a lot to live up to. In 1991, Beauty and the Beast was nominated for Best Picture. Was nominated for Best Picture. And it lost, but that was like the first time. And they were like thinking, okay, if we made a film that was good enough to win Best Picture, to get nominated for Best Picture, we're going to make one that's good enough to win it. Mm-hmm. And around this time, Aladdin was in post-production, Lion King was in pre-production. So, and they were making Pocahontas, and Lion King was being made at the same time. And they actually took animators off the Lion King to work on Pocahontas, and they gave the Lion King to the B Squad because they thought the Lion King was just going to be the little filler film, and Pocahontas was going to be the big, huge hit. Actually, the opposite ended up happening.
The opposite.
Okay, so now, folks, guess what? I'm gonna ruin your childhood.
Yeah, Bill, ruin it.
Okay, Pocahontas' real name was actually Amanuti. I'm probably butchering that name. Amanuti. And Pocahontas was actually her nickname. It means the naughty one. And the big one is when the settlers came with what's-his-face, John Smith. Again, another Mel Gibson reference. Because Mel Gibson voiced him. There was actually no romance between Pocahontas and John Smith.
For real?
Smith, yeah. Pocahontas was only 10. John Smith was like 27.
What?
Because in the film, they portray they portray Pocahontas in like her late teens, maybe early 20s. In like her late teens, maybe her early 20s, when in reality,
that's insane.
When in reality, she was only like 10 or 11 when John Smith got there.
Yeah.
But
that's crazy.
But anyway,
I didn't even know. I'm new to this. I knew there was some stuff, but I didn't know it was that.
See why you hang out with me. You learn the weird random shit nobody want to know.
And what do we call that?
Random Facts with Bill. And okay, more stuff about Pocahontas here. And Smith did spend a few months with Pocahontas tribe as a captive.
Mm-hmm.
And while there, he and Pocahontas taught each other basic aspects of the respective language. Pocahontas would actually later marry an Indian warrior named Hokum when she was 14, and they had a son together. But,
wow.
And oh boy, we're really going to get bad now. Pocahontas was not traded to the English. She was kidnapped and was not given, it wasn't consensual. We're just going to say that.
All right.
Yeah, we're getting pretty dark here, folks.
Darkness with Bill.
And here's the other thing. I said she didn't marry John Smith. She ended up marrying John Rolfe. This guy named John Rolfe. And here's the thing. She ended up marrying a guy named John Rolfe. And she ended up, this is going to really ruin everything. Remember how I said she proved that she was, they portrayed her as like in her late 20s. Late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pocahontas actually was only 2021 when she died.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. The more you know. Seriously.
She was only 2021 when she died. It says right here that in a ship that returned to Virginia, she became gravely ill.
Oh my God.
And it says that she may have been pregnant at the time, and she there was speculated causes like pneumonia, smallpox, tuberculosis, and hemorrhagic dysentery. And she passed away in March of 1617.
Damn.
And here's I'm trying to find her marriage. Yeah. That Indian guy, I don't know if they were married, but she did her and John Rolfe were married. You know what? I'm curious about John Rolfe now. I'm just like super curious now. Like her husband, John Rolfe, he went on for another. Damn, these people. He was like 11 years older than Pocahontas. He died 5 years later. Nobody knows of what. They did have a son together. And okay, you know what? I want to know what happened to the real John Smith. But anyway, and a lot of the stuff that really happened, if you know American history when it comes to Native Americans, think really long and really hard here, folks.
Yep.
Really long and really hard. And John Smith, who was actually a captain in the English Army, and he was part of London of the of the Discovery. And, he did meet Pocahontas, but again, she was like 10. He was like 17. Oh, no, he was like 27. Sorry, I was doing the math wrong. And he passed away in 1638 at the age of 51, which in those days, living to 50 something, that's like living to 80.
Legit, yeah.
In those days, that's like living to 80. But yeah, so before we go on to my last pick, do you think it's kind of messed up that Disney did a story about someone like Pocahontas, which has a very darker story than what we saw?
I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. Did it? I mean, I think they were just trying to go through their repertoire of Disney princesses or princess-like characters that they can go through.
What should we do? We had a hit with Little Mermaid. We had a hit with Beauty and the Beast. We had a hit with Aladdin. We have a hit with The Lion King. What are we going to do next? Oh, I got an idea. Let's do a story about a Native American girl with stories about and genocide and also kidnapping. Let's do that. Exactly. Oh, okay, but we got to keep all the non-consensual activity, genocide, and all that. We got to keep that out because, for kids, we got to keep all that out. So I think at the end of the day, it's a little messed up that Disney did a story like that. But, they did sanitize it,
Right.
And yeah, sorry, folks, I ruined your childhood.
Oh, God, it's all good, Bill. We all know it.
Yeah, so anyway, okay, and here's my last pick. And this was something that Matt Hemsley brought up in the chat.
This is your last pick?
This is my last pick.
All right, and then we'll go to the chat board afterwards. Go ahead.
And that is the movie Amadeus.
How do you spell that? Amadeus.
Amadeus.
Oh, the Beethoven one.
Mozart.
Mozart. Yes, Mozart.
So, okay. For those of you who don't know this is the story of the life and times of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. This is but this is actually told through the eyes of Mozart's rival. We'll get to that in a second.
Yep.
This is told through the eyes of Mozart's rival, Antonio Solieri. And okay, a lot of people who are like huge fans of Mozart's music hate this movie.
Okay.
Because there's so many historical inaccuracies. And it did end up winning Best Picture, though.
Oh, really?
It was actually directed by Milos Forman, the same guy who gave us One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, get out.
So anyway, I'm going to tell you some of the stuff that you didn't think was true, but it's actually true, and then we get into the fun shit. Sound good? Okay.
Sounds good.
The stuff that was true is they kind of portrayed Mozart as kind of very juvenile and very enjoying sex jokes and getting drunk. Because if you're a really big fan if you're like a more conservative person and you think his music is beautiful, which his music is absolutely beautiful, don't get me wrong.
Correct.
But you would think, and he also fooled around a lot with women who were not his wife. And a lot of people thought, oh, that's so not true. It actually was. Like, if you look at diaries that he wrote, he was writing to a family member, and one of them said, oh, my ass hurts. It's burning so bad. He actually wrote that, and he actually enjoyed a lot of sex jokes. He actually wrote a song that was supposed to be just a song for his friends. That was a song for his friends called Lick My Ass, Lick It Clean.
Really?
He actually wrote a song that says that. I kid you not.
And Kiss wrote a song called Lick It Up, just saying.
What was that?
And Kiss wrote a song called "Lick It Up." Hey,
I wonder if that was inspired by that.
I'm just probably not. Anyways,
But anyway, yeah, and a lot of the things that yeah, here was the thing that, and like, here's a bunch of other things here. Okay, this is coming mostly from Solieri's point of view. Solieri, they said that Solieri and Mozart had a rivalry. Their rivalry was, I think it was more professional.
okay.
Because on a personal level, from what I've read up on this, from a personal level, they actually did have a lot of respect for one another.
Okay.
I don't know if they were friends in real life, but they did have a lot of respect for one another.
Right.
And it's going off that Solieri hated Mozart. And the big one, we're getting to that one in a second. I swear we're getting to that one.
No worries.
But then, but like, an also big one is that Solieri, with the respect with Solieri and Mozart, Solieri actually taught Mozart's son after Mozart died.
Wow.
So I'm sure they had some sort of respect for one another. And the film does go off that Solieri was basically a loser and nobody liked him. That's actually, again, not true. He was actually a very well respected composer at the time. He wrote a lot of operas, but around this time, this was like when German nationalism was coming up, and Solieri's Italian, and Italian nationalism was coming up. And a lot of the operas back then were in Italian.
Yeah.
And people like Mozart were leading the charge that they wanted more operas in German. So I think that was really the big thing. And I think also in this film, I haven't seen it in a while, but also in this film, they showed that Mozart was kind of lazy, but no, he worked really hard on his music. And
I mean, back then they always did. Beethoven and him, they always did.
They always worked hard on their music. And like, okay, like, this is something that's true yet false at the same time. Like, the strangest part of the movie, which you didn't think really happened, it did. A mysterious stranger comes to Mozart's house and tells him and gives him a commission to write a requiem mass or a funeral mass. A guy in a mask comes and goes, "We have a commission for you. Who is it?" It's a requiem mass. Going, "Who is dead?" "A man who couldn't afford a requiem mass." Going, "You will be paid very well." And he takes the money, goes, "Work very fast and hard. I will see you again." And I think they portrayed it in the film that it was Solieri, but it wasn't. Somebody came out of nowhere and commissioned Mozart to write a requiem. That part actually happened, but it wasn't Solieri. It was actually someone who was trying to pay off his debts or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, but now here is also one more thing before we get to the big one.
Yeah.
Saying that Solieri, because he's saying that he offered up his chastity to be a great composer. So you're thinking, okay, this guy never married, never had kids. Now, he had 8 kids and he got married, and he was also screwing around. So yeah, he didn't offer his chastity. That was totally false. Okay, now it's time for the big one, the big inaccuracy. That this is the one that critics of movie have a heart attack. It is portrayed in the movie that Solieri killed Mozart. That is 100% false. Because the movie starts, Solieri's in his house, And like all his friends are out there, like, Solieri, come for dinner. If you don't, we're gonna eat it all.
Right.
And he's yelling, Mozart, I confess, I killed you. And they walk in and show that Solieri tried to kill himself.
Ugh.
And then he's taken to a psych ward, basically. Don't forget, this was like the 18th century. They didn't have mental health, the advancements we have in mental health that we have today. And back then, they didn't have psychologists. They had priests. So a priest comes in and he sits down with Solieri, and Solieri's at his piano or harpsichord. He goes, my son, if you have something to say, say it. And he goes, go away. And he goes, wait a minute, do you know anything about music? He goes, I know a little bit. Going, okay, do you know this? And he plays first two pieces, and the priest is like, never heard them. He goes, okay, you probably know this one. Dun, 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 dun. And the priest starts singing along, goes, oh, I didn't know you wrote that. I'm sorry. That's charming. I didn't. And then that's the big framing device. Solieri's actually in confession and telling the priest the story.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie does frame that Solieri killed Mozart.
Oh, man.
But there are, okay, sorry if I'm going on and on here, but
you're good.
Here's you're good. What really happened. Because Solieri didn't kill Mozart, but because there were writings from Mozart near his death that he said he felt like he was writing the Requiem for himself.
Mm.
He said, I feel like I'm writing the Requiem for myself. I feel, because here was the big line, I was poisoned. I feel like I've been poisoned. And yeah, he said, I feel like I've been poisoned. So and then after Mozart died, that started off as a rumor. But then as time went on, it became a whole out conspiracy that Solieri killed Mozart. And at the time, like with the movie, the way how he frames it, I'm going to give the movie this. As you know, Doug Walker did an editorial on this, and he said, who's telling the story? Solieri. And, you know, in factual parts, at this point of his life, Solieri was very old, and he was also struggling with dementia at this point.
Right.
So he was very sick. So Solieri wasn't exactly all there. When he was saying, I confess, I killed you, again, that could have been his dementia. Again, not much was known about medical stuff back then. And with conspiracies, guys, this was before Twitter was even a thing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
People, it was just word of mouth. And when he's saying, I killed you, again, that could have been his dementia, because at this point, he wasn't exactly all there. And you know, getting back to what Doug Walker said, who's telling the story of the film? Solieri. So it's more like in his mind, because it makes me think of, there's a recent movie out called Tick, Tick, Boom, which is about Jonathan Larson, the guy who wrote Rent. And they're right. In the beginning of the film, they say, this is all a true story, except for the parts that John made up. So I think it's sort of like that, because again, Solieri wasn't all there at the time, and maybe this is coming from what he thought happened. But there was actually diary writings to a former pupil who became a friend of his before he died, saying, I just want you to know that rumor that is going around that I killed Mozart is not true. I did not kill him. So, yeah, but that rumor first, it just started as a rumor. Then it became a conspiracy. that actually then came the basis for a play called Mozart and Solieri, which eventually became Amadeus. And you know who was actually Mozart in the first onstage production of Amadeus?
Who?
Mark Hamill.
Get out, really?
Yeah, well, he doesn't play him here, but
I know, but
in the onstage production, I think he played Mozart.
I had no idea. That's incredible.
And yeah, Luke Skywalker and the Joker himself. But
crazy.
Yeah, but you know what I think the thing is, and I just said this about Pocahontas. I think with other movies, I think when the people who were there, they can easily speak up and say, no, that didn't happen. And say, no, that didn't happen. But I think when you look at something like Pocahontas or Mozart or Pocahontas or Amadeus, because these people have been dead for centuries, you know?
Yeah.
Because they've been dead for centuries, and mostly everybody in this film is dead.
Yeah.
And mostly everybody in this film is dead. No, wait. Let me correct that. Everyone in this film is dead.
Yeah. They've been dead for a while.
So they can't really speak on the matter.
No.
But while if you make a film with historical events and the people are still alive,
right,
they can say, yeah, that didn't happen. But when they're dead, they're like, oh, we can do whatever they want. They're not going to come after me. They're dead. All their descendants are dead. So
basically, yeah.
We basically got free reign.
Yeah, free reign.
Like, woo. Mozart's dead. His wife's dead. All his family's dead. We're free. Or Pocahontas. Bet all her family's gone unless it's her 20 times great granddaughter. So guess what? We're free. So yeah, I think that's the thing with historical accuracy. That's my list. You know what I think it's time we do?
I think it's time we
check the chat board.
All right. Thank you everyone who's been tuning in for the past little while. Thank you so much. So first things first. So someone in the chat board brought up the Social Network.
Yes, and Amadeus, which I just talked about.
Yeah, we just talked about that. So
and
the Social Network,
historically inaccurate movies that come to mind. I haven't seen the Social Network. Have you?
I have not. I remember when it came out. I think it's 2010, 11. I forgot. But I remember when it came out, and that's about it. So I can't really comment. I can't comment on it specifically, but I do know that there were some things wrong about it, as far as I know.
Yeah, I didn't see it, so I can't really say that.
Yeah.
Joe Wiley, this is when I was talking about Sound of Music. How can you ignore the wonderful music of Rodgers and Hammerstein? And it's one of their top musicals. No, Joe, there are actually some songs from the Sound of Music that I do actually like. And I do think Rodgers and Hammerstein are absolute geniuses. Yeah, there are some songs I like, but I just wasn't a big fan of Sound of Music. Oh, wait. Matt Hemsley coming through the clutch. Matt Hemsley's coming through the clutch, my friend. Okay. If you read the third paragraph of the wiki page for JFK, they talk about okay, we got to look at this now. We're going back to JFK for a second.
All right, we're going back to JFK for 1 sec.
Guess who we owe the thanks to?
Matt Hemsley.
Matt Hemsley coming in the clutch.
All right.
Okay. The film embroiled in controversy at the time of its release. Upon its theatrical release, many major American newspapers and editorials accusing Stones of taking liberties with historical facts, including the film's implication that Kennedy's own vice president and eventual successor, Lyndon Johnson, was part of a coup d'etat to kill Kennedy. Despite the controversy depiction, JFK received critical praise for the performances and cast. Oh, okay. Thank you, Matt. Matt again. I haven't seen JFK, so I can't say anything myself. But from what I heard, it is the opposite of what you guys are saying, that the film is a giant conspiracy theory. Yeah, okay. Well, okay. Like, I didn't see it either. So, Matt, we apologize. Thank you for looking that up.
Yeah, sorry, bud. At least he brought that up in the chat board, though. That's good.
Hey, no, Matt Hemsley coming in the clutch.
Yeah, he was commenting on Pocahontas as well.
Yeah, I went to the American Museum in D.C. in Pocahontas, and they had a section where they talked about some of the inaccuracies of Pocahontas.
That's actually pretty funny.
You know what? Like, I will say about Pocahontas, just for one quick second, it's a Disney movie. Do you really think the people who made this film were gonna be up all night reading books about Pocahontas and say, okay, we're gonna be very historically accurate?
No,
of course not.
No.
And again, because if you read the actual stories of Pocahontas, a lot of it's quite saying it's dark is an understatement.
Yeah.
A lot of what really happened is just downright gruesome.
Unfortunately, that's the way.
So, do you really think they're going to show that in a movie for kids?
No,
of course not.
They're going to make it a kid movie.
They're going to make it. They're going to sanitize it. They're going to make it Disney-like. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Pocahontas. But that has nothing to do with the historic inaccuracies. I just think it's boring.
I tend to agree.
I just think it's boring.
Can you think of any others off the top of your head?
Any others? Can you?
I'm at a loss. I mean, this was a very tough one for me from the get-go, so I just wanted to get you.
Yeah, sorry, I kind of took over everything here.
No, believe me, you're completely fine. I actually wanted you to for a little bit because I needed help with some of the topics.
Okay. Let's see. Any chat board want to help us out here? Because I know there's like hold on, I haven't seen it, but I heard 300 is like historically inaccurate.
Why have I heard this too?
In essence, 300 is a retelling of Herodotus, the account of the Battle of Thera. I cannot pronounce these words.
That's a Greek methodical thing too.
Yeah, a lot of, but again, it's one of those things like we talked about with Amadeus and Pocahontas. The people who are a part of the story have been dead for centuries.
Yeah, and plus it's also based off a comic book run too. It's based off the 1998 comic book series by Frank Miller.
Was this before or after he went crazy?
1998, so I don't know.
Okay, this was before he went crazy.
I mean, that's just me, but
we did
well, I mean, the story was based off a comic book run. So, I mean, technically, he had to get some historical information in there, but I don't think it's like completely based on history in general.
No, but a lot of people said there was historical inaccuracies
with the movie.
Were the Ephoras really misshapen, corrupt priests to the gods who forbade Lenodias to go to war? No, 300 diverges strongly from the history in this scene. Ephoras was Spartates, elected for a term of 1 year to lead the government and administer Sparta. They were proven hoplites like ones with Lenodius at the Thermalite, but their political role strongly counterbalanced that of the kings. Thus, they would likely have the decisive word with regard to delay in full mobilization after the Carnia. And this decision would likely reflect the Spartan consensus position. Lenodius and the 300 would have traveled north. Yeah, because I remember I had a history professor when I was in college who hated this movie.
Oh, really?
Because it was so historically inaccurate.
Wow. I mean, because if it's a history teacher too, so.
Yeah, if it's a professor, you know.
Yeah.
Because they probably know what really happened.
Probably.
I was thinking about 300 too. Oh, guess what that means, Matt? Sorry, JT. We swiped right.
Damn it.
We swiped right.
That's right.
I was thinking, I've only seen parts of it, but I have two different professors in college complain about the inaccuracies of 300. Well, one, the two defenses of that is one, it's based mostly on a comic, like JT said.
Yeah.
And two, like I said, what we said with Amadeus and Pocahontas, like these are people who've been dead for centuries. So
yeah,
I don't think they have really much to say on the topic. Yeah. Anything? Hold on. Let me look at a list on.
I'm drawing a blank. It's up to you.
Like
but I'm good on my end if you're good.
I think we
kind of scraped the barrel a little bit too.
I think we might be oh yeah, I have this list. We keep going back to JFK for some weird reason, but one of the things, and we'll make this quick, it said that the CIA had a close relationship with Lee Harvey Oswald. And they knew who really killed him, who really killed Kennedy. So
all right.
Okay, so that's done. So JT, I'm going to be honest, my brain is dead right now after all that.
I completely agree with you, Bill. But ultimately, guys, it's what you guys have to say.
It's what you have to say. This was an interesting topic, folks.
Yes, I was very thrilled to do this as well with Bill. I mean, I thought doing this topic in general was tough for me because I could only come up with 3 films. Bill came up with like 4 or 5, maybe 6 at most. And we went to you guys in the chat board as well. But ultimately, it's what you guys have to say. But let's jump down to the comment section below. Share this video, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Simply at the Super Review Show on all platforms as well. And I believe it's 2022, so Happy New Year. And Bill, you have a podcast?
Sports Insanity Podcast. Check us out. We are on all platforms. And don't forget to check out the network. And don't forget to check us out tomorrow for Thursday Night Gridiron.
Yes.
As we're going to be talking about the AFC playoff picture. We're also going to be talking about the 2 games that have been flexed to Saturday. So we're going to be talking about that. Don't miss it. 7 p.m.
Yeah, they do. I've said this before. I'll say it again. They do a fantastic job over there at the Sports Insanity Network. We love them. They're great. They're super awesome. And Bill comes on here every week, and we do this all the time. And tune in tomorrow for our 2nd edition of our new show we started called Career Retrospectives with a new member of the Super Review Show team. His name is Kyle. He's officially joined us. I want to make that announcement.
Welcome, Kyle.
Yes, Kyle Q. Welcome to the club. And all we do on that show is where we pick an artist, we break down their entire discography or a specific album, and we just talk about it for an hour or so. So tune in tomorrow for that as well. What's that? What
time are you guys doing it tomorrow?
Same time, around 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Ooh, we might be in competition tomorrow.
How about that? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching.
I'm going to be doing Gridiron.
Yeah, I know. And then we'll talk about that later. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and listening. You guys are outstanding. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Mixed Bag.